Hi, what's up, guys? I am Ho. I am really one to doing my best job of sharing every useful ideas to people. Today, I want to share to you guys is all about my unique spiritual perspective as a Sigma male. Although I have going through my own spiritual process, but once I get certain kind of profound insight about myself, I have definitely changed my own mind about what the spirituality really all about, which means it really give me some sort of very enlightening moment that can allow me to see clearly what most people misunderstanding about the spiritual practice. So now today I got to be responsible enough to let you guys to see clearly this kind of problem that is already rooted for so long. So be honest, what I really see most people do is they tend to use spiritual practice as a way of get addicted on any spiritual cool stuff or so obsessed up on any law of attraction techniques, because as long as they can get certain kind of instant gratification is something they are they are craving the most, rather try to understand the true nature of spirituality, which means they are far more roots in touch with the reality itself, rather to really know how to stand firm on this real world ground. So which is definitely doesn't really represent what the true spiritual practice all about. So here is the thing that I have to address very well in order you guys can see clearly that if you're really so serious about learn some spiritual practice, you have to try to understand that spirituality is all about raising your own consciousness to see clearly what's going on all the time you still living in this world, as long as you know how to cultivate certain inner quality from yourself, rather be so self-entitled on getting something, as long as you feel so pleasurable for the short moment, no matter whether you get those kind of thing is something you really want or not, which means there are lack of certain profound values that you can get along if you do like that. Okay, it's not about, oh hey, you are learn certain kind of spiritual knowledge or law of attraction manifestation technique, you think that you can get rid of any fucking problem that you don't want to face, rather you try to understand why those problems happening in your life. So that is really very important that you have to understand that all those of laws or principle about spiritual practice is just serve as a tools for you try to get a glimpse of how things work, as long as you wisely use it for your own growth, not a self-entitlement of get certain kind of instant gratification which doesn't really align with your own true spiritual nature. So you have to understand this, fellas, because this is something that you need to know very well about yourself so that you won't do the same mistake again and repeat the same lesson that can finally just tear you down. Okay, that's not what I like to see if you really love yourself. And secondly, what I find that is make me raise my own skepticism about certain kind of metaphysical words which really not so purely resonate with my own understanding about spirituality. Seriously, okay? Whereby it's also until caused me to feel wonder about whether any terms like Lightworkers, Indigo, Crystal, Rainbow, and Starseed Children are real actually. Are this kind of term just some sort of new age woo-woo for making people feel so excited about themselves in terms of their own spiritual practice, or there is certain kind of traits are really so legit can be relevant to any this kind of special individuals who've been chosen as a representative of spiritual awakening. I don't know. Even though I am want to become a Sigma male, I also don't say I always carrying a Sigma male labels to label myself like that. Although I'm used to believe that a light worker is the words that is describe myself so well until a few years ago I'm making a video about how to stripe yourself on YouTube as a light worker, but now I beg the difference, which I'm still feel very doubt when those kind of word is only certain kind of self-gratification for certain individual ego boosts to validate with whether they are so spiritual or not, which is just a label, guys, which make me, if you just like you wearing some clothes and say, oh yes, I am a spiritual people without really practicing any self-discipline or meditation, what you do is just sitting on the couch and surfing internet and learn as much fancy metaphysical words as possible to consider yourself so spiritual, and that is totally is not something so making sense at all if you want to grow yourself spiritually. I know when I say like that, maybe some of the light workers might not like what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anyone. This is just my honest opinion about what kind of spiritual practice that we're supposed to going on in order we will just use certain kind of more down to earth approach to train ourselves to be more self-aware about everything we are faced along every day. this is also same like the alpha male don't like a sigma male like us say some very soul liberating words for other men in order let them how to liberate themselves from the hierarchy, social hierarchy, slavery that they are trapped in so long. That's why this is something that very important. Everyone should to realize that the real spiritual practice is not about what kind of metaphysical input that put inside your head without try to do some self-mastery practice that can expand yourself further to see where is your potential can reach and try to understand that there is something that you can do for yourself authentically without using any kind of fancy words. Okay, this is why we sigma male come to here is want to reintroduce again the virtue of hardworking that we are traditionally practice the most. Okay, whereby it is something that is the most legitimate value that never change no matter how much era has been going through. The hardworking is something that been proven so well that is the key value to determine any success rather to edit any so-called of effortless manifestation that doesn't really guarantee always work all the time. Okay, so this is why that is very important to try to realize that if you want to fulfill your own spiritual purpose, that is the only thing that you can do. You try to cultivate your own character and attitude about how can you navigate any different moment in your life without thinking so delusionally and hope some sort of magical stuff come down from the sky and then wipe out all any kind of fucking shitty problems that you face all the time. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to bear in mind very well so that you will have a very good clarity about how to use the more realistic way to solve your any practical problem in your life as long as you won't be gaslighted by other people nonsense so that you can know how to use your own healthy mentality to think clearly about what should you do in the moment in order you can make sure everything is under control for the sake of your own future benefits. Okay, that's all for today from me. So if you have anything you want to say, just leave the comment at the comment section below, and I hope every one of you guys have a great day.